Phoenix Down Radio is on the air.
Welcome everybody to Phoenix Down Radio, episode number 106. I'm your host, Klaus Nightbringer. Joining me today, we have the, I don't know, what do we call you?
I thought it was the most interesting potato in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not doing anything interesting right now.
No, that's very true. I'm eating pizza and playing Final Fantasy, which is
And still in the United States.
Yes, unfortunately. I was the 7th person picked out of 6, and all 6 of them were able to make it. So they have asked me to come for spring. So for now, I'm stuck here stateside, but there will be a point where I vanish to the other side of the Pacific Ocean. So please look forward to it.
And the stateside,
I'm Taliz, by the way.
Yes, the stateside potato is Taliz Marvelous. How are you doing today, buddy?
Awesome, man. How has your week been?
Oh, this last week has been hell. I'm not going to lie. Before I get into that, we will say that Sarah is off doing real life stuff. He thinks that going to a friend's wedding is much more important, which it is. So I hope he has a wonderful time.
Congratulations to the happy couple. Have fun, Sarah. Make sure that you take advantage of the bar.
Not too much advantage in that you get in trouble.
I mean...
Well, this is coming from the old guy. Come on, give me a break.
Fair.
Anyway, so getting back to my week. I'd like to start talking about my week first. I worked 6 days in a row over the weekend. And it was a lot of work that I did not like. And I was just absolutely drained. So fortunately, I get 5 days off now, so that's helpful. I'm right in the middle of that at this point. But during that, I ended up getting a new phone. Hung up the S7 Edge and ended up getting a Note 10 Plus, which is pretty freaking nice. I'm really enjoying that.
How long did you have your previous phone?
I had it for 3 years.
That's about right. That's about the lifeline of a phone.
Well, it was starting to really slow down. You know, you would think that a phone with 4 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of storage would be enough. Not in this day and age.
Not anymore. Not with how big file sizes have gotten.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember I think I got a 32 gig iPod in like 2006, and it was like $300, and it was the biggest thing they had. And now I'm like, oh, that's cute. Like, I've lost flash drives bigger than that.
Right?
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, but the fact that, I mean, most of the Square Enix mobile games take up 3-4 gigabytes of storage. I mean,
yeah, if you have Brave Exvius installed, that's like 6 or 7. Like, it's huge now.
I had to get rid of it, otherwise my phone would not work anymore. But,
oh my God.
Now I have 512 gigs on this phone.
That is a few.
Yeah, I think it should be good for a couple of days.
Yeah, no kidding, right? You're like, oh, hang on, let me pull everything off of my Google Music folder.
Yeah, well
oops.
Well, I mean, I have all of that Final Fantasy music that I put onto it now, which that only took up 3 gigs maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good Final Fantasy tracks that just, when you listen, even if you haven't played the game, it can still elicit that emotional response.
Well, it's because it's Uematsu, most likely.
Uematsu's incredible. Like, yeah, with a few notable exceptions. What's up, 14 and 13?
Yeah, but I mean, 90% of the stuff from my formative years, it came from Uematsu.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 6, 7. I mean, Sephiroth, For Rachel, Theme of Love. Like, that's all definitely Uematsu.
Oh yeah. But so yeah, we got that, and then yesterday I decided to go to Mall of America. I had to test out the 5G speeds on the phone. They're pretty nice, by the way. And I had to get some sushi and some bubble tea. So.
Oh, you had to. You absolutely had to.
Okay, let's put it this way. The last time I had bubble tea was probably 1.5 years ago.
Okay, no, that is fair. Never mind. I rescind. It's definitely a have-to thing.
Yeah,
bubble tea is great.
Yeah, I don't have it very often, so I decided to go get some Nutella milk tea with coffee jelly boba. And the combination was beautiful.
I'm a tapioca guy, not a jelly guy, but the coffee one sounds like I could get behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about going with the black tapioca pearls, but I saw coffee jelly up there. I'm like, what would Psyche K get? And I knew
Definitely coffee jelly. To that end, we're officially like 3 minutes into the episode. We're going to start talking about food. Did you see Babish did the coffee jelly episode?
Yes, I did, and that's kind of part of the reason behind why I went with that too. So
it's good. I've had actual coffee jelly in Japan. It's pretty bomb.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think anybody else knew who Psyche K was.
Nope.
It's like, I mean,
suddenly,
because I mean, I talked about Psyche K with the guys from PSU when I was doing the anime podcast with them, and that was one of my recommendations, and nobody had heard of it at the time.
It was, just crickets.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Crickets. But it is. If you have not seen it, seriously, go watch it. It's on Netflix. It's really good, and it's just a little serialized. Goofy show about this kid who's got these amazing psychic powers that he actually has to keep in check, otherwise he will basically destroy the world. And then all the shit he has to go through on a daily basis, and it's just hilarious. Go watch it.
That's a
seriously.
very apt description. That was a very apt description of it.
It's just so good. How was your week?
My week has been crazy. I started at a pizza place. They were super cool with me taking every other Saturday off. And I was like, great. And I was there for about 4 days. And because I got added to the schedule late and they write the schedules way too far in advance, they go, oh, we'll text you Sunday or Monday with your schedule. And I was like, cool. Well, like Tuesday afternoon rolls around and I get an email that's just like, you have no shift scheduled this week. And I just text them. I'm like, so I still have the key to your storage locker underneath your restaurant. Do you want me to bring that back or what? And they're like, yeah, that'd be great.
Well,
I was like, all right, cool.
It's a bummer that didn't work.
It's okay. I wasn't really feeling it anyway. No big deal. So back to delivering groceries. The MR2 is doing nicely. I'm looking at some fun upgrades and parts. Japan, we covered a little bit in the pre-show. Obviously, I'm still here. I didn't go. But looking forward, there's other options for other schools, other contract companies, and potentially going in spring to get a TEFL instead. So stay tuned for that.
The Sakura season.
Yeah, and if I end up going to Nagasaki, that's going to be super, super cool because it's on the western half. So it's a stone's throw from Busan, basically. It's a very different area geographically, so you get a lot of different weather patterns, so plants grow differently. So the sakura blossoms look different in the Kyushu region than they do in the Kansai regions.
Okay.
So that is going to be really exciting. I hope that I can make that happen.
Well, it'll be cool. And if it does happen, make sure to take a lot of pictures and put it out on your Twitter.
Oh, there's going to be so many pictures on my Twitter, which you can find at Taliz Marvelous.
Yes.
I post shit posts and food and all kinds of good stuff.
Yes. All right. Aside from that, you reminded me I actually did also get something new for my car. Not huge, but I mean, I decided to take the leap and get LED headlamps.
Yes, praise heaven.
Oh my God. The reason that I was holding off so much initially was because a lot of the early models, you had to then get resistor kits and wire them in line. And it's like, I really don't want to be doing that with my headlights.
No, if you don't have the confidence in doing it, definitely don't.
I mean, it's not like it's difficult. It's 2 to 3 wires, but my luck is I'd get them backwards and I ended up blowing something up.
You end up frying your wiring harness.
Yeah, which
for that specific section, you'd have to replace that section. You don't have to replace your whole wiring harness. That would be insane. It's all isolated.
Yeah, but still,
cars are designed well. But
you know what I'm saying.
You don't need to replace a $40 part when you could just not. But now, yeah, the LEDs are set up better. Resistor kits are easier.
No, these came with resistors built in.
Oh, they did?
Yes,
oh, okay.
This has the resistor built in line with it, and then that whole unit plugs into the existing wiring harness. And,
okay.
And holy shit, are they bright?
They're bright, and you can see a lot better, and you can see a lot further. Definitely make sure that you get your headlights adjusted so they're pointed in the correct direction.
And also check on the bulbs, because I didn't realize this, but these bulbs are actually directional.
Yep.
Because I have high-low on one bulb.
Yep.
It's 9007s because it's a Ford.
So it's a 9000. Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I had to. Normally you put a bulb in, it doesn't matter. You just put it in, you're good. But
it's not radial anymore; it's directional. Because
exactly, because there's LEDs on either side, and there's 2 that are a little more forward than the others, and 2 that are a little bit further back. The ones that are more forward are your high beams, and then the other ones are your low beams.
and they work off of the reflectors inside of your light kit.
And yeah, if they're upside down, you're going to be reflecting them backwards. And you don't see very much.
I've been blinded by those before.
No, I couldn't see shit.
Oh, really?
Because it was pushing them down.
Oh, because of the way it's set up.
Yes.
That's fair.
Yes. So I was reflecting down more versus out. And as soon as I put them in the correct way, I could actually see things again, and it was amazing. But
I have pop-ups, so like wherever my headlights are gonna go, they're gonna go. So I have to pop mine up, and there's actually screws on mine that I have to just straight up move the lens to where I want it to be.
Yeah, mine have a little adjuster on the back that I can screw in. It'll change the shape a little bit of the reflector, aim it high or low, and then I just need to adjust.
Cool.
So
it's really cool.
Just gonna be really careful with them, because if you do too much, you could actually fracture that reflector, and then you're kind of screwed. You got to get a whole new headlamp assembly.
And then you have to go find somebody who backed into a tree and their front end is good, and you go in with a couple of tools and rip their assemblies out.
Well, I mean, literally, you can just take them out with 5/16 and pliers. So I need to take out a headlamp on these.
I love that we've gotten to where engines need a laptop to fix them, but headlights, body panels, stuff like that is still just
my
like
car is almost 20 years old.
Tools. Yeah,
So.
my car's 26 years old, and yeah, I can work on it. I need an 8, 10, 12, and 14 millimeter size spanners.
Welcome to Car Talk.
Welcome to Car Talk with a screwdriver, and I can take everything from the starter to the transmission, the engine head, or a quarter panel off. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I've even done engine work on my car. So.
As you should. Everybody should know how to do some engine work.
Yeah.
Speaking of engines, we have an engine that fuels us, and it is powered by Square Enix, and we're here to talk about it.
Oh, dang it. Well, actually, no, what we're going to be talking about next is coming up in 2 weeks from today, and that's Extra Life Game Day.
Oh, crap. Is it that time of year already?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we're literally 2 weeks away.
All right.
We will be podcasting during this year's Game Day, November 2nd through 3rd, starting at 8 a.m. Central Time. We will be gaming here at twitch.tv/Phoenix Down Radio, trying to raise funds for UC Benioff Children's Hospital in Oakland. As of right now, the things we're going to be playing are going to be Final Fantasy XIV Patch 5.1, which we'll talk a little bit about later on in the show.
Finally.
I might actually be holding off on doing the MSQ for Extra Life, which means I'll have to figure out what else I'm going to do.
Yeah, what are you going to do for 4 days?
Work. But
that's valid. You work and then you like go whole ass one thing, work the early part of the week, and then game the other part of the week.
But probably getting back into Final Fantasy IV. I haven't played that in a good 6 months now.
Oh, you're gonna be hella lost, dude.
Oh, I know I am. I don't even remember where I'm at, to be honest with you.
I mean, if you have Yang, you should be okay.
I don't remember.
All right. Well, we'll find out.
Yes, we will.
Stay tuned.
I picked up Jack Party 6, so if you guys out there want to join in on some of this while you're watching, you'll be able to play some Jack Party with us. It's a lot of fun. We'll also be doing Twitch Sings, who recently added a party feature. I played that a little bit last night, and that was actually quite interesting, jumping into a random party of drunken people. And we just...
That sounds like it could be a lot of fun or be super dangerous. I'm not sure which, but I want to get more 14 creators involved, because I think it'd be really, really funny to get like Yumi, Fusion, and Emmy singing something.
That it could be fun. I'll have to reach out to see if any of them are doing anything for Extra Life this year, because it's been a little quiet on the Final Fantasy XIV creators front for that.
Well, we've had a kind of a weird few months in 14. But we'll get there.
But what we're trying to do, we're trying to meet or beat last year's total of $1,025. And if we can do that, I will play Final Fantasy X-2 on stream in its entirety. Now, if you guys know or have been listening to the show for a while, you know that Final Fantasy X-2 is my least favorite Final Fantasy game.
Ooh, okay. Legend 2?
I never played that one, actually, but I mean, it couldn't be much worse than Legend.
Mystic Quest?
I don't think I ever played Mystic Quest.
Okay, I was going to say, Mystic Quest is also bad, but it has its own unique charm in just being a crappy game.
I mean, Final Fantasy Adventure, which I kind of enjoyed because it was Zelda-esque.
It's just a second Densetsu game. Yeah, it's just a second Densetsu game at this point.
But no, 10-2 is my least favorite game because it seems the least Final Fantasy to me. It seems a lot more Barbie dress up. Which
Fast action job based game is all it is, and it's not my favorite either. I'm right there with you, man.
But as we have an ambitious stretch goal of $1,500, if we can hit that, I will sing the theme song while I'm playing.
You're gonna sing Real Emotion.
Yeah.
At 15, are you singing it in Japanese or English?
Probably whatever I can find easiest, which is gonna be English.
Okay.
We'll sing through a lot of the different songs. Let's just put it that way, all right? Because the one that Sarah always bugs me with is, "What can I do for you? What can I do for you?"
That's Real Emotion. That's the
that's
first
what I
one.
thought. So that's the one we'll be doing. So
Nice.
but we have a long way to go to get there. We're currently at $100. But I have faith in all of you guys that we can at least hit our $1,000 goal.
1025 doable. The stretch goal is the 15.
Yeah, I figured, you know what? It was worth a shot. I mean, last year's Extra Life was assisted by the fact that I had that glorious beard that we were trying to save or shave. And actually,
oh, that's right. I remember that.
the beard is back.
Are you gonna go shave your beard again?
I could add that in there, maybe $1,200. We shave the beard, or whatever.
All right, we will cross that bridge when we get there.
But I'm posting in the Twitch chat the link for our Extra Life donation. I also do have I have our Extra Life tied to Facebook. What do they call those? Fundraiser.
The fundraisers.
Yes, so I put that in there as well. If you want to, you can. If it's easier for you to support us via Facebook, which I'm not gonna get into my personal feelings on Facebook right now, but
Not right now. We all know.
But I mean, if it's easier for you to donate that way, by all means, you can donate in either way. It's for the kids, and that's why we're doing this.
Exactly. And for anybody that doesn't know, every year we kind of change like where the money is going. Sometimes it's going towards Minnesota, where Klauss is from. This year it's going towards a hospital in Oakland, which is
Nearby,
reasonably close to where Sarah's from.
Correct. It's the closest hospital to where Sarah's at.
So we kind of move it around because we do have a lot of hosts and we want to sort of make sure that everybody's involved. So that's why it's going to Oakland, in case anybody was curious.
Exactly. I think next year we'll probably go back to the Gillette Children's Hospital.
Yeah, go for it.
But other things going on, I don't know if you remember, about a month ago, we had announced a contest, our Fat Cat Haiku contest.
We did.
And we had a winner. And I want to thank and congratulate Alshalant.
Thank you, Alshalant,
who wrote
for your
this
entry.
Beautiful little haiku about the fat cat. I am a fat cat. Very chubby, so very fluffy. Fat cat, ride sky high.
I approve. Yeah, lots of snapping. Oh, I should have gotten my... Never mind. I have a bunch of taiko hand drums that I should have gotten out, but that feels like too much. But again, thank you, Alshalant. Alshalant?
It looks like Alshalant, yep.
Okay. Thank you very much for your entry. We love doing contests. We love involving you guys. So next time we do contests, throw in an entry because we love hearing from you guys.
And also, Alshalant was the only entrant. Gonna throw
See,
that
I was
out
trying
there.
to be cool about it, but all right, sure.
Hey.
Yeah, your chances of winning is pretty high.
Exactly. I mean, we Alshalant, we sent the code to you via DM in Twitter. So I hope you enjoy your code. So thank you very much. Thank you also to Chili and Pete and Avi at She Hills I Tank for doing the contest that I ended up winning to get that. So
Oh, cool.
we're spreading the love.
We're passing that. We're regifting the stuff.
I wonder who Alshalant is going to give it to next. Just kidding.
I don't.
I would suggest that you utilize it and keep it. So
Yep, sooner than later, because we want to see that fat cat.
yes. Also, hi Rory. I'm glad you were able to join us today. Hopefully, Florida is nice and balmy today, not raining like it was yesterday. All right. So let's get into some of that game and community news. I don't know if you saw this, but it recently announced that the War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius game has a scheduled release date in Japan of November 14th.
That's the second game, right? If I remember correctly.
Well, it is the it's the more story-based game. It's going to be, I think, less like Brave Exvius is currently, but it is still going to be one of those free-to-play games, but more story-driven.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I haven't played Brave Exvius in a hot second.
Oh, it's raining still, Rory? I'm sorry to hear that.
Ugh.
Yeah. Never fun to be in Florida and while it's raining.
No, definitely not.
But while they announced the release date for Japan, the Western release has yet to be announced.
It's probably going to be like 5 or 6 months.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
I'd say at least 3 to 4. You know, I would say probably a late spring.
I could see that. I could also see it like maybe right after the turn of the year.
Yeah,
just to make sure that they get everything that they need done.
Yeah. You think it's going to be that far out, or are you talking like the actual fiscal year, so like March, April?
I could see it in March. I could also see it in January. Again, it really depends on what else the studio is working towards.
Yeah.
But let's be real. Mobile games pull in funds.
Yeah.
And Square Enix is not hurting anymore, thank God. But they definitely need those, that consistent income, and those free to play. They definitely generate a lot of revenue. So I can see them trying to get it out sooner than later too.
Yeah. Like that Final Fantasy XV, A New Empire game that made so much money, and it's a terrible game.
It's a terrible game, but all of the 15 fans were just like, we need something.
Mm-hmm.
And we've played episode Ignis 8 times this month, and it's like, well, I don't know what to tell you, dude.
I've done it. I've come up with what else I'm going to play. I still have a couple of episodes to go through. So we can add some of those 15 episodes for Extra Life. Uh-oh, did I lose him?
No, you didn't lose me. I was chewing, so I had my microphone muted.
I was like, damn it, where'd he go? It's just me.
No, I'm here, I promise.
Good. I know. Continuing on, there was a video released. It was basically a Final Fantasy VIII remastered developers interview discussing the legacy of the game and the team's experiences during the development process of the game. I didn't get a chance to go watch all of this yet, but I have seen some of the other videos that they've done regarding their the development process, and they're actually quite interesting. It's in Japanese, but it is subtitled. So
that's helpful.
You don't have to find a friend. Like, what are they
or
talking
sit
about?
There for an hour and watch it 4 times. Not that I've. Never mind. Anyway,
you have to. If you're interested.
We all have.
In taking a peek at Final Fantasy VIII history, that's a good watch. Go check that out.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a bit of information that I thought was very interesting. You remember a while back we had talked about the news that they were discussing a Final Fantasy XIV live-action TV show?
I thought it was going to be like the Dad of Light thing. I thought they were like redoing it or something.
Well,
I didn't know exactly what was going on with that.
Well, this was announced after the Japanese movie was announced. So you thought there was going to be a revamp of Dad of Light TV again?
Well, sometimes they'll do that. Well, they'll release a TV series, and then a year or two later, they see the popularity, they see some shortcomings, and they'll recast it, and they'll do new sets, and they'll get new people back together, and they'll just remake the show. They did that with Great Teacher Onizuka. There's like a 12-episode live-action series, and then like 4 years later, they did like a 25-episode live-action series. Completely different cast.
No, this one is actually going to be based in Eorzea. And it's going to be done by the people who brought us the Witcher series.
Okay.
That Witcher live
I was thinking of a different thing. Yeah, this one looks rad.
But yeah, anyway.
This one looks so cool.
IGN had an article talking about why Final Fantasy XIV is getting a live-action series and not Final Fantasy VII. Because that was the other one that they were talking about. The big reason why 14 is getting the nod over 7 is the fact that the nature of the story has it adding new content on a consistent basis. So the world is growing. 7 is pretty much set. I mean,
7's done. We've done everything we can in 7 at this point.
I mean, there's a few side bits that we can probably flesh out, or maybe some things that we can tweak and add, but 14 is ever changing, ever evolving. I mean, there's more stuff continually coming. We don't have the entirety of the world yet, and it's always in development.
And in 7, we have that remake. And so if there is some stuff we want to expand on, some stuff we want to grow into, there's already an avenue to do that. We don't need it in a separate medium now. But 14, yeah, when we started playing 14, Doma didn't exist.
Yep.
Alamigo was dead.
Yep.
And up until July of this year, we were fighting to liberate Alamigo.
Yeah, now we're fighting doing a whole new world.
Yeah, now we're ending up in
this new fantastic point of
place.
Never mind.
I knew it was coming. No, 14 is a great venue for something like a TV series where we have a source material, it grows, it builds, it changes, it evolves, and then we go back to the TV show, and then it's like, what is this new thing? I thought we already beat Bahamut. Oh, well, this one's harder. Okay, great. Like, we can continue to grow years later.
Mm-hmm. A snippet of information I pulled from the article is from an IGN interview with Dinesh Shamdasani. Sorry if I slaughtered that. That they did with him at New York Comic-Con. And he says, our hope is that we build something cool that goes for a long time. 14 is, by virtue of its format, able to continue and expand itself, add itself in there. Hopefully it can be some cross-pollination where they can say, this is a new expansion, and we say, great, we're going to lean into that in the new season, or we're going to lead into this in the new season. And they can maybe do, great, we're going to do an expansion which includes these elements, so maybe they can go back and forth with all of it. So,
as opposed to, like, leading on Pokemon as an example, there's stuff in the card game, like there's lore that has happened that doesn't exist in the anime and does not exist in the video games at all. And there's stuff in the video games that never translated into the card games or the miniatures. And there's stuff in the anime that just makes no sense and isn't linked into anything else. But they're able to go, you know, this character is really cool. What if we put that character in the card game? Hey, this character is really cool. What if we give them a shout out in post game in the next iteration of the franchise? So they can link all that stuff together by putting it in one thing. And it feels like 14 is doing that with this specific TV project. One sentence right here at the very top of Dinesh's statement. I want to grab this statement, send it back in time to 1986, go to Shinjuku with this and say, you're never going to believe this. All 12 of you that still work for the company. This dude works for you in the year 2019, and he says, our hope is that we build something cool that goes for a long time. Final Fantasy I on the Super Famicom was the biggest Hail Mary of its time.
Well, hence the name, Final Fantasy.
I want to go back in time and go, here's this.
Yeah.
Just so you know, it's gonna be okay.
30 some odd years later.
Nobody would believe it.
No.
Realistically.
No.
They'd be like, oh no, we're gonna make, our last game was called King's Knight and it was a shooter and it was bad. And we're like, I know, just don't worry.
They tried to put it into 15.
They did. They put it as a pinball game.
That was Justice Force 5 or something like that. But no, they did a revision of King's Force as a mobile game.
Oh my god! Oh, that's right. They did.
So,
no, it was. Have you played King's Knight? It's a top-down shooter, and
no.
It's a mess.
No, like I said,
it's a beautiful, beautiful, glorious. You need a USB controller to play it on your computer. Emulated. It's bad, but it's a really, really fun look at, oh, this is what they were making. No wonder they thought they were gonna die.
Lovely.
and Final Fantasy happened, and here we are with tattoos and podcasts and all kinds of stuff going on.
I mean, nobody would imagine where it went from this point.
No.
So I'm glad it did, though. Anyway,
I am too. It's changed my life.
little bit.
A little bit.
All right, so shall we talk about the big bit of news then?
Absolutely.
Something that happened yesterday morning at way too fucking early, 4 a.m.
The ass crack of dawn.
Yeah, I slept in. I'm not
I watched the first 40 minutes and then passed out. I tried. I really did.
So we do have a patch trailer. I'm going to link that to you guys. I thought about starting the episode with it, but I didn't want to get in trouble.
No, let's. If you haven't watched the patch trailer, watch it at some point. It is really, really good.
Yeah, I wasn't overly impressed with the voice acting, to be honest with you, but maybe it's just the context of it or how I watched it. But there's a lot of bits that I don't 100% make sense to me yet, which is good in the way that it's like, okay, where does this all fit in now?
I don't want to know the entire story from the trailer.
No, exactly. But
I want to experience it. That's why we're the Warrior of Light, is we get to experience it.
But it's definitely. I will say that their patch, their trailer making experience has gotten much better over the years.
Have you seen? There was a great thing on Reddit a couple of weeks ago. It was the patch title cards, and it was all the Realm Reborn title cards that I swear to God were just Times New Roman white on black. It was bad. And now we have these cool logos and names, and this one is Vows of Virtue, Deeds of Cruelty. And it's that sounds amazing. And then 4 years ago, it was just there's swords and dragons, I guess.
Well, it was.
These were not inspired at all.
2.1 was A Realm Awoken.
Yeah. I think that was the one, and it looked like word art.
It was done in some really weird font.
It was brutal. And now, when I saw Virtue Cruelty, I went, I think that's the same font that they used for Shadowbringers, and they're keeping it consistent and they're building on the world, as opposed to we have a patch and we're fixing X class and adding this thing. It feels like their trailers are better, their title cards are better. After 7 years, they've learned and we've grown, and this game has gotten huge.
But they still shoot the live letters with a camcorder, and Yoshi shows off all of the artwork on printed paper.
Which, that's so Japan. That's absolutely so Japan.
But it's absolutely adorable as well.
A friend of mine, she's releasing an album pretty soon. And she was like, we have physical media in stores in Japan. I was like, cool, do you have a digital download? She's like, no, our producer doesn't think we need it because Japan is still just not. They just don't think about digital downloads as releases for music. And we were talking earlier about Spotify versus YouTube Music versus Amazon Music. That's a thing that we can have a conversation about. And in Japan, it's, no, I need a physical disc.
Don't get me wrong. I still like having my physical discs. I love having all of those soundtracks sitting over there. But
it looks really cool.
The first thing I do with them, I rip them.
Yeah. You rip it, and then it sits on you rip it, you pull the code for whatever minion comes with it.
And then I put it on the computer to listen to that way, and I put a copy on my phone so I can listen to it on the go.
Mm-hmm. I definitely bought the Primogs minion, and it came with a soundtrack.
Exactly. Yeah, I bought the Suzaku minion too, and it came with a lot of Shadowbringer songs. Well, at least I didn't buy a $250 emote and get a free statue.
But
I did buy a $200 Dark Knight statue and get a free expansion.
This is how you add value, guys. If anybody's taking marketing classes, this is how you do it. Here, buy this t-shirt and it comes with free stuff. I bought a Magic t-shirt. It was a deck builder's toolkit the year they got released. It was crap. It was a collection of commons and uncommons in land for $15. It was dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But it came in a kind of neat box, and it came with a t-shirt. I bought it. I pulled the cards out. I kept the box, and I kept the shirt. And some new player was like, I don't have a lot of cards. I'm like, here. Just have those. I literally spent $15 for a box and a t-shirt.
Well, t-shirts go for $15, so.
Exactly. And it was a cool Magic shirt, and
yeah,
had the Planeswalker logo on it.
There you go. All right, moving on.
Yes.
From our free music and free expansions.
Free expansions.
So yes, 5.1 has a release date, October 29th. We kind of picked that too, but they didn't really give us many dates to go off of, did they? Oh, it'll be coming out in late October.
Late October, and we're sitting there. When did they say that? Like October 3rd or something ridiculous? And we're going, okay, so late means after the 15th and before the 31st, and you drop this on Tuesdays.
So we got 21st or we got 29th. And
so
then
we flip a coin,
yeah,
and
then we
ta-da,
and
we
then
got there.
Well, then it was like, okay, we haven't had a part 2 of our live letter explanation, so they announced it. And that was, they're not going to release an expansion 3 days after a live letter.
No, because they want time for it to. It's part of how marketing works. Like if I say this is being released today, like Nintendo does that crap all the time. Like E3, they're like, so this launched during our presser. Heads up, and everybody goes, "Holy crap, that's crazy!" But most companies are going to go, "This comes out in a week and a half. Please discuss it on every single form of social media."
Exactly.
So that when it drops, the audience is huge. So they knew what they were doing.
Exactly. And all of our coverage of the live letters coming courtesy of Nova Chrysalis. So thank you so much to the guys out at novachrysalis.com. I will link to their coverage here as soon as I can.
Thank you, Nova Chrysalis, for the translations. I was able to watch some of the video, but it's here's artwork on paper, and I'm going to show you how stuff works by clicking on it. And I'm like, bro, I don't know how Astro works.
You guys
I don't know what any of this means.
If you guys want to kind of like partner up on some of this stuff sometime, just let us know.
Yeah, you can shoot us a message at podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. Gmail
no,
question mark?
It's podcast@phoenixdownradio.com.
Oh, okay, cool.
See, we have our own domain. We use it.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I got lazy with my podcast. I never got like a domain or anything done.
Well, why wouldn't we have a domain?
True. You have an audience of more than 3 people, so like it's worth it.
Yeah, we have 4. Actually, I think we have we have 4 watching right now, so but 2 of them are us. And one
that's fair.
And one is a Rory.
My biggest download ever of my podcast was like 5 people. And one was me and one was my editor. And I was like, and I'm done. I've spent too much time on this.
I guess I don't do it for the views or for the downloads. I do it because we have fun talking with you guys, and I want to talk about this thing that I love. Anyway, continuing on. So new main scenario quests, duh.
Yep.
Pixies are our beast tribe, duh. That was already told to us.
We already knew about that.
Side story featuring Nier Automata, duh.
Yeah, this is all stuff that we've known about for a little bit.
Level 80 dungeon, the Grand Cosmos. This is in Lakeland. It's been confirmed. This is on the other side of the source. And I'm not talking about our world. I'm talking about that big lake in Lakeland.
I'm interested to see how they tie us in there. I mean, we could just go there, right? But I want to see how we get there narrative-wise.
Well, apparently, some new Mo decided to take it over after it was abandoned during the Flood of Light. Oh, and Aurori, if you want to join us, we're currently in the instance for the All Saints Wake. You can go talk to the one of the event people. What's his name again? Exactly.
Alliteration name guy that's in the middle of the amphitheater?
Yeah, Big Rogadin, I think.
Yep, that sounds right. We trust you. You can find it.
Yeah, if you've gotten through, I think a 10-minute story, I think that's all it took you to do it today, right, Taliz?
It took like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
like 5 or 10 minutes.
So we're hanging out in Hawk Manor, so it's kind of neat.
In the Hawk Manor instance version, that's there's a bunch of stuff blocked off, so you can't get buried in the basement or whatever.
Oh, that's right. You're still on vacation. You don't have a laptop or PS4. That's right.
Enjoy your.
Yes, I keep forgetting that. See, whenever I go anywhere, I always have a laptop that can get me into the game. That's how I work.
That's true.
That's how I do.
And you made it work.
All right. So Grand Cosmos, like I said, it was abandoned and then basically taken over by a new Mo. And I'm interested to see what the storyline is going to be from.
It also says it's trust compatible, which means that if you've leveled up your trusts, you're going to be able to take them in there. So if you really want to explore...
No, even if you haven't brought your trusts in, you're going to be able to bring them through the first time if you want.
Oh, that's true. Your first time, you just grab them outside.
Yep. But you know what? Nobody's going to do that.
No.
Unless your name is Sarah.
On launch day, everybody's doing it. Everybody's new.
Yep.
Everybody wants to try it out. And honestly, how many of us are, in party with 3 or 4 people from our FC, and then we go, hey, have you guys reached X yet? And somebody goes, oh yeah. And it's like, okay, well, you're leveling Paladin, and I've got my Black Mage up, and like you're doing White, and what do you got? Dragoon? Perfect. Good enough. Let's go.
Exactly.
And like your FC is going to go, or you have to fill in one person.
Yeah, so you get 3 people together, and you party find for the last person, and boom.
Exactly. That's what we usually do.
And to be honest with you, I don't think my trusts are going beyond that first dungeon.
I have tried to make trusts more interesting. Like they've increased the amount of experience you get. I've tried to get through it, and I just go through and I'm like, I don't care enough about this particular mechanic, and the benefit for this mechanic isn't apparent enough for it to be worthwhile.
They could literally give a level per time you run it. I'd still have to run too many times. You got to run at least 12 times to get everybody leveled up.
So, okay, you run it with every combination of people.
And that's in the best case if they were to give you a level per, but right now they're only giving you 600 or 6 million.
A third.
So if you have to run it 3 times per level, you have to level them up 3 times.
This game is huge. There's treasure hunting, there's crafting, there's gathering, there is role playing. This game is huge. I do not have time for that.
Exactly.
I just don't, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent my time. I've gotten 5 jobs up to level 80 now.
Perfect.
But I am not going to get 6 NPCs up to 80 as well.
Absolutely not.
So yeah, I mean, trusts, cool idea. If you don't want to play with other people, I want to play with other people. Sorry.
Yeah, that's why we're here. Like,
you play how you want to play. Don't let me tell you how to play your game, but don't tell me how to play mine.
Yep. Now I will say, like, fresh level 80 samurai. I'm going, okay, my moves are in a slightly different place. Some of my Hisatsus have moved and changed a little bit. I went in with trusts to kind of make sure that my bar still worked. And I was like, okay, cool. This makes more sense now. And I will be more than happy to use them for that.
Yep.
But I didn't finish the dungeon. I did like 2 pulls and a boss. And I went, okay, cool, I get it. And then I left. I wasn't going to bother finishing it. It wasn't worth my time.
I would finish a dungeon just to get the gear and then turn it into seals.
Put a pin in that. We're going to get back to that in a little bit.
Oh, okay. So they're adding a new extreme mode difficulty for a trial. We're getting Minstrel's Battle, Hades Elegy. We get to fight Hades again. We get a new...
I'm okay with that. That was a fun fight.
We get a new Wyvern that we get to farm for. And maybe some weapons. I don't remember that fight. It's very much like the Shinryu fight. You go in there once and you're done. I don't think I still haven't fully completed Shinryu X.
I mean, does it matter anymore?
Yeah, because I want the doggo.
Yeah, okay.
I have to get all the doggos yet. So yes.
I mean, you can wait till 2021 and then you go face roll and get all the doggos by yourself.
We can face roll it now with a group of 80s.
True.
So, I mean, it's something people do, and we will eventually get there once we get to another content drought or something. But just saying.
Content drought. Yeah, content drought is very real.
Just saying, it's a thing. So we're gonna have that fight coming up, and there will be various job adjustments, which we'll be talking about more in depth coming up later on. New Game Plus will be added. This is all the things that are coming in the first part in 5.1 on the 29th.
This is a lot. This is one of the biggest patches we've had in a while. I mean, Sans expansion and the odd number patches are generally pretty big, but like this one's got A remarkable amount of stuff going on.
We're getting crafting and gathering updates. We're getting the slices right. I wonder how much trouble they're going to get in for that. The Yojimbo gate in Gold Saucer, as well as a new Dolmen Mahjong layout. We're getting performance ensembles, new instruments, and a performance assist feature, which is basically a metronome. But performance is getting some love.
Did you ever find a USB keyboard?
Yeah, I haven't bought it yet.
Okay.
I've gotten some thoughts and ideas from people, but I haven't yet spent the $80 for it.
Meanwhile, I just dug out an ocarina and was like, I'm just gonna work on this, like out of game.
Yeah. So we're also getting a new update to the game launcher, which will have they're probably giving us the light skin.
Ugh. All right.
Yeah. Pass.
All right. Yep. Hard pass. First thing you do. It's always a good sign in software design when the first thing your end user does upon a change is find a way to change it back.
Yeah.
That's always a good sign. It always makes you feel good.
Unless the default is light and then you switch it to dark, which is what I did on my phone as soon as I got it. Change everything from light to night.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's an OLED screen. It's so much better in dark with dark anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, you almost blind yourself otherwise.
It's beautiful otherwise. New housing wards, 19, 20, and 21.
And subdivisions for all of them.
Yeah. Well, everything already has subdivisions. So
like that's a lot of houses
720 houses
per server.
And
that's,
a whole shit ton of apartment buildings.
Because there's apartments in each one too.
Yep. And then plus Spriggan and Twintania over on the Chaos data center are getting housing 1 through 18. So everybody's going to have a house there. I mean, that's thousands of houses.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And then updates to the mentor requirements.
1,500 and level 80 and completion of 3 role quests, if I recall.
Yep. I'm good to go. I'm ready to go.
You got all your stuff?
Yep. All I need to do is go talk to the smith. I'm good.
Okay, perfect. So one day you're going to log in, your crown's going to be gone. You're going to spend 3 minutes fixing it and you're done.
Well, it won't be gone until end of December. You have from release of patch 5.1 till the end of December to meet those requirements. If you do not meet those requirements by then, which I think they're hinting at the fact that we may be at 5.2 by that time frame, question mark? That seems a little early though. That actually
way
probably
too early.
Maybe that's like 5.17.
5.15, 5.17, sure.
Well, it won't be 5.15 because that would be a long time to wait for certain other updates that we're going to talk about here in a minute.
Yeah. We'll get 1.1 in like November 5th or something. Like we're going to get it almost instantly.
Actually, no. Patch 5.11 comes November 12th.
Oh, that's right. It's 2 weeks because they actually had stuff planned for it.
It's actually in our notes.
Oh, I could scroll. Sweet. I'm learning how to use a computer, guys.
Yay.
For the very first time.
He's so good.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
For anybody that doesn't know, I legit didn't own a computer for 20 something years. So I'm straight up learning. I imagine your dad. That's what I'm doing. I'm learning a computer for the first time.
Okay, so in 5.11 we get the release of the Epic of Alexander, which is the new ultimate level challenge.
Is this going to be like the Binding Coil
Yes,
Ultimate?
it's going to be Bahamut Ultimate and what was the other one?
Dude, I don't know. I don't do ultimate level
I am
content.
totally blanking out on what the other ultimate level was.
Hang on. I mean, you're the one that's hosting a show. I can still pop around in my menu real quick.
That's true. Aside from that, we're also getting the Ishgard Restoration at that point.
Ooh, finally.
Yep. I
am so jazzed for that.
And then as well as fellowships will be added in patch 5.11.
The hell is a fellowship? Oh, is it the...
It's the message boards that are going to be able to have up to 1,000 people. They're
link shell of redundancy. Okay.
They're cross server. they're not a chat function. So they're not going to be a link shell in that aspect. It seems like it's more of a bulletin board. I mean, you can leave messages. There might be I don't know if there's going to be some sort of calendar function potentially. But
dude, that would be sweet, so that you could actually like schedule things like, you know, raids and treasure hunts, and
it would be kind of cool. I mean, I can see the hunt community coming up with using something like that. The
big time.
The creator community, you know, getting together. You know, we can say like, hey, we're gonna be doing a show on this day. We'd like to have somebody join us to talk about XYZ. Who wants to join in?
I'm just thinking about it in terms of like rehearsal schedules for Stage Reborn.
Yeah,
like that would be like if there's a calendar function, holy crap, game changer.
I'm sure they have on their website that's more robust already.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, but if there's one that's in the game,
I mean, yeah,
it's not a bad redundancy.
Especially if there's a way to easily link somehow.
Exactly.
But that would require opening up an API, which Square Enix is not very good at doing.
Not especially.
I mean, it's something we were promised back in 2.x.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we're still standing on the dock and that boat is not coming back. Like, it's not happening.
Please,
which is fine. Maybe,
please.
Well, it's fine. They're trying to prevent people from using DPS ferries and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, good luck.
All right, fair enough.
Yellow parse or GTFO, or orange parse, excuse me.
Yeah.
Whatever. See, I don't pay any attention to that shit. So I get all the terminology wrong. I'm old.
Skip sword disband.
Exactly.
God, when was that? Years
Zervon.
ago.
That was Zervon.
Oh, that's right.
Then patch 5.15. We don't have an announcement date on that yet, but that's when we're going to get Blue Mage updates. So that's when they're going to get their level 60 cap, new Mass Carnival stages, and a Blue Mage log added.
So we're going to have more monsters to go get spells from.
Yep. We're also going to get substantial adjustments to PvP and the new Onsal Haker map.
What the hell is that?
It's in the Steep.
Oh, okay. It's a PvP map.
It's going to be in the Azim Steppe.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Cool.
Why does it say in there the Minstrel's Ballad, Hades Elegy? Is that when we're getting it? I thought it was coming in 5.1.
No, we're getting Alexander.
Oh, never mind. I screwed up the notes on this one. This one, okay, so they're talking about what it actually is. So never mind. We have to do that.
Gotcha.
I think. Because I'm.
So hey, there's a thing coming out at some.
Yeah, I would doubt that they're gonna hold off on bringing us Hades X until 5.15. But they could be. So
it depends on the fight. It depends on the content. I mean, with Ishgard, they kind of want to make sure that Ishgard works. With some of the job bounces we're going to talk about, they want to make sure all that works before they're like, here, have an extreme level trial with a bunch of new buttons that how they work. We're getting commercially geared out.
They should just give it to us anyway. Because the Ultimate Raiders need something to practice on.
Yeah.
That's my thought on it anyway. So you want to talk about some of these job adjustments, because most of these are for jobs that I don't play.
Absolutely. So the first one that is pretty extensive is Ninja. They mentioned a few weeks ago that Ninja was still kind of trying to find its place. Ninja has changed a lot. You didn't see it in a lot of party comps. So now they're switching it to where Mudra and Ninjutsu are sharing your global cooldown with your other weapon skills. Has a fixed recast time of 0.5 second and 1.5 seconds. So now all your Ninjutsu potencies have gone up, because they lowered them down originally and they wanted to kind of bring them back up so they were more balanced. The Vol Up effect of Trick Attack no longer requires execution from a rear. Increase to enemy damage taken has been reduced, and the duration has been increased. So Trick Attack is now going to be a lot easier to use. The Ninki gauge cost for the Hellfrog, the Bahava Kraka, and the Bushin has been reduced from 80 to 50, which means that it's going to go a little bit faster, but the Ninki that you gain from those weapon skills on your charge, that is going to be adjusted a little bit. Not sure if it's up or down, but they don't want to make you too overpowered, but they still want to make Ninja more viable. Yoshida mentions there is 2 big changes. The Tenshijin no longer requires you to press ninjutsu for each action. The Bunshin lasts exactly 5 global cooldowns. Trick attack is not required from rear. The Ninki gauge cost for trick attack is now 0. Shadow Fang, that's a very weird choice. I'm interested to see how that changes people's rotations. The Shadow Fang skill is no longer part of your combo. It's now a weapon skill with a recast time. So you now have an off GCD for Shadow Fang. So Ninja is going to be it's not Gunbreaker, or not Gunbreaker. The Machinist levels of change to where it's a completely different class. But your rotation's going to alter a lot because your timing is going to be different. So save up some planet clusters. You might be remelding some stuff. Samurai. Do you play Samurai at all?
Not at all. I think it's still level 50.
Oh god.
Okay, I unlocked it, and that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, Samurai is my main melee DPS. Meditation status effect no longer expires. So anything that requires meditation stacks is going to be a lot easier to hit because you're not going to have to do it in certain time frames, which is always a nightmare for things like, I don't know, Eden, where you're constantly moving and you just don't have time to sit still. So that no longer expires, and you get a stack of 3. But Shoha now requires all 3 because it's powerful enough that it's worth it. Meditate, the Aijutsu, and Tsubame Gaishi now grant stacks of meditation, which means that you're going to be using Shoha more often. It's one of your bigger Hisatsus, so you're going to want to use it as often as you can. But now, instead of build to it, use it, build to it, use it, try to keep your uptime, now you're going to be able to use it more often, and it's going to hit more. Your skill speed will affect your cooldown speed of Tsubame Gaishi, which is going to change a little bit, but probably not as much as the meditation skills will.
Okay, I'm just want to go back up, confirming that Hades Elegy is coming out in 5.1. It's just how it ended up getting copied in, a little odd.
Okay, but it's 5.15?
No, 5.1.
5.1?
Yes.
Oh, damn. All right.
The reason it got into the 5.15 bit is because there was a video in their article right after the 5.15 talking that showed off a little bit of Hades X.
So when you pull text, it just...
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So do you play Red Mage, right?
I do play Red Mage.
Okay. Do you play Summoner or Black Mage at all?
I have Summoner up to 80 now. Only because
do
I
you
have
Summoner up to 80 because you leveled Scholar?
Yes.
Okay. That's just making sure.
But like I said, I do understand a little bit of what they're talking about here with Eggy Assault and Eggy Assault 2. They're now spells, which are not so they're going to be on GCD.
They are on GCD, but your potencies have gone up because you're not going to be able to use them as often.
Yes. Well, I mean, you can still use them on a regular basis. I mean, you're every 2.5.
Well, okay.
3 seconds.
As often means 3 times a minute instead of 4.
Yeah.
You know,
but,
whatever.
The thing is, you're not going to be utilizing it all. You know, you're not going to be spamming it, like you would. You know, using it on. You know, keeping it on cooldown when it was an off GCD.
Oh God! Do you remember when we were using our Grand Company? We were going in. We were using Gauge constantly, and we just broke the crap out of that. Eggy Assault kind of felt like that a little bit. Try Disaster. This is an interesting change. If you are in chat and you play Summoner, please sound off because my God, this sounds very interesting to a person that doesn't play casters.
You're talking directly to Aurori, our Summoner, aren't you?
Try Disaster no longer inflicts enemies with ruination, but directly damages them. So does that mean that you're no longer getting dot and you're getting all of the damage in a burst? Because in general, Summoner was the more dot heavy and Black Mage was the burst. So are we sort of shifting that and balancing?
It sounds like they're balancing a little bit.
I don't want homogenized classes though. That's boring. That's why D&D 4th Ed was terrible. Like, you know, we want to have uniqueness. So I want to know more about that.
But I mean,
So
the fact that they're adding in, they're changing the enhanced Bane trait a little bit, so that way Bio and Miasma will get full duration when that spreads.
which means that we're going to have that dot up more often.
Yeah, you'll still. I mean, they're still going to be heavily dot based. I mean, it's very similar to how Bard plays in that aspect. Because if you don't have your dots up, you're losing half your DPS.
Speaking of bards are back.
Yeah, we're getting our song buffs for the party back. They're not as strong as they were back in Heaven's Word or in Stormblood, but we will be able to utilize songs to give the entire party a small buff. So if you have been a good bard and been continuing to play your songs and keep them up on a mostly 100% rate, then you're going to fit in just fine. But if you haven't been using your songs, you need to get them back into the rotation.
And you'll have to, re-get your muscle memory back for your keyboard or your claw or your controller, whatever. Tanks have an interesting change, especially something that we noticed when Dark Knight came out is that we had a whole bunch of new tanks. Hold on 1
second. I see Aurori, her eyes went wide after you had mentioned the tri-disaster thing. So hopefully she can...
is Aurori writing a book?
That's what I'm wondering if she is. If she's going to write this huge, massive dissertation about what that means for the class.
I absolutely hope so. Dr. Aurori, please educate the class.
Yes, go ahead. Continue.
So tanks. Again, when we added Dark Knight, we had a whole bunch of new tanks because people wanted to try it because edgelords, and so we had a lot of newer tanks. Right. So we had a lot of newer tanks kind of learning. Gunbreaker is also super, super cool. Thancred's a very popular character. People are sort of glamming towards that. We have a lot of newer tanks that are discovering things like I ran Tamtara earlier with a 35 Gladiator. Like, we have a lot of new tanks. So Reprisal is getting changed. You now have an AoE effect around you, and the duration is increased. Sentinel and Vengeance now have a 15-second duration up from 10. Sentinel and Vengeance are defensive cooldowns. Reprisal increases your outgoing damage. So now you have an AoE effect where around you, your outgoing damage is going up. So if you're clustered on like the back end of a boss, waiting for like a beam mechanic or something, and your ninja, your dragoon, and your monk and your samurai are all standing next to you, now's the time to hit Reprisal because now everybody's going to be doing damage. So that's an interesting thing to add to a tank where we're primarily defensive. Now we have a very short, very limited, very specific AoE buff. Monk went from worst to best to nerfed in the course of 3 months. It's been a very wild ride.
It's not getting nerfed that much.
Mantra is being changed a little bit, which is fine.
It's being tweaked. They're bringing it back in line with everything else. Come on.
Well, especially with all the changes they had to do to Ninja, like woof. Dragoons are also a little adjusted, so they're easier. I feel like Dragoon is the thing that they test how big we can make a rotation before players stop playing it.
Dragoon is the easiest job there is. Tank floor, repeat.
Slash dead. Just slash dead.
No, the Dragoon's rotation is jump, die, repeat.
I love watching Dragoons, like new Dragoons.
Nick Nar, don't kill me.
The Sprout Dragoons that we'll get into Titan, and I'll be in there on a roulette, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Sure enough,
they jump in
off the side,
they do a jump back, and away they go.
And we 7-man the rest of it.
Well, how many red mages did the same thing?
Oh, I watched a red mage scatter shot off of like everything that doesn't have rails, whether it was Leviathan or Titan or.
Well, no. There's that last move when you do your melee combo after you build up your white and your black magic, and then there's the final bit when you flip backwards. And you flip right off the edge. I mean, I don't know how many times we did that in Omega.
Omega was brutal. What was the...
Or Shinryu.
Shinryu was brutal. There's been a few that you just if you're not watching what's behind you. But if you turn your camera, like the camera moves, guys, use it. It's part of your toolkit. It's as important as your skills at some points. Speaking of Red Mage, acceleration is getting 3 stacks. Acceleration is your dash forward skill, right?
I thought it was a speed up in casting.
It's the casting speed up. It's called something different for Astros, but it's basically the same idea. So that's getting changed to having 3 stacks. So now when you have an opportunity to, park your feet and burst out spells, that's a really good time to use it. And you don't have to.
No, acceleration ensures that the next Thunder or Verflare, that if you cast one of the spells, the other one will automatically trigger the next time.
Oh, it's an auto proc.
Yes. So
that's a really good thing to have 3 charges on.
Yes, because you pop that, you cast one, so you start off with is it Jolt or whatever the first spell is?
Verjolt or something like that.
I hit 1. I'm so good at names. And then you would hit your acceleration and you cast your next instant spell after that, and then you would get your proc, cast that, use your acceleration, cast the next spell, get your proc. So yeah,
push
you're
the buttons
gonna
that are lit up.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. That'll be really fun.
So that will, because I mean that's a huge amount of white or black mana that you build up when you get to cast.
Very, very quickly, which is going to be super nice. So speaking of casting, Black Mage has a skill called Triple Cast, and once you have enough stacks of it, you can. That's where they're doing the Fire 4 non-stop spamming. And one of the issues that I've seen is you'll start your spam, you'll run out, you'll realize that your mana's in a bad spot, you have to transpose, and you're not in a good part in the fight to stop dealing damage. You want to skip a phase or push a phase, and you can't. But now it's going to be easier to see your remaining stacks of Triple Cast, so you're going to know when to start blasting out those Fire 4s, and for the more advanced players doing Extreme and Savage, you're going to know when to hit your potions so that you're going to be able to go through your Triple Casts at absolute max capacity.
Yep, sounds about right. I don't play Black Mage. I still have a Thaumaturge.
I think I have a level 17 Thaumaturge, but I know a friend that mained Black for 2 and 3, 2X and 3X, and just absolutely loved it. And I was like, all right, sweet. So interesting to see some changes there.
We also know that Black Mage is Yoshida's favorite class. Come on.
Which is an interesting thing. Well, he likes seeing the really big numbers, as he said in interviews before.
Yeah.
Healers. I see nothing for Scholar in the notes, but for White Mage, the Asylum range is increased.
That's good.
Which is fair. Asylum's great. Increasing the range isn't going to unbalance any fights that I can think of off the top of my head. We'll see what 5.1 brings.
Yep.
Astro, Minor Arcana doesn't turn into Lord of Crowns or Lady of Crowns. It now just transposes the effect. So the job is adjusted for better MP management and collective unconsciousness changes, mainly for Nocturnal stance, largely because they simplified the cards so much. The reason why we had a weird resurgence of Astros was because all of the people that loved Astro left because they loved it because of the way it worked. With the card changes, Astro doesn't work the same way anymore. So the old Astros are now playing Scholar and White Mage or something else. And all of the current Astros, most of them are very, very new. So we're seeing a lot of changes to Astro, and a lot of the old guard that's been playing that since Heaven's Word isn't maining that class anymore. So some of these changes are really affecting the newer players, people that started playing in Stormblood, for example.
You sure are saying a lot of words.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Astro is one of those jobs that I unlocked but have not touched. So
that's actually my preferred healer. Unfortunately, it's not quite as potent as it needs to be viable, but I don't heal super often, so it's not a huge deal.
My 80s healer right now is Scholar because I leveled up Summoner with it.
Perfect.
But I will be getting White Mage up there. White Mage is at 70, so.
I want those angel wings. I'm not gonna lie, they look really cool.
Like I said,
I know it's a skill.
I cheated. I figured why not level up, 2 jobs with 1 stone.
Yep.
And then I can knock out 2 of the role quests and be that much closer to keeping my mentorship. Got to keep that crown, yo.
You played it smart. I have 3 level 80 classes. 1 is Culinarian. So just to show you where I'm at in my progress.
Well, Aurore's, I think, still working on finishing up Shadowbringers. So I think a lot of her crafters are higher level or are up to what her summoner is. So
I jokingly would say every time I would run through Hingashi or whatever, I'd be like, oh, look, Aurora is standing at the bell near the market board. Shock, surprise. And then now that we've moved on and we're no longer in Stormblood, I see her in Crystalline and I'm just like, oh, look, Aurora is by the bell near the marketing board. And every once in a while, I kind of want to go through and figure out what all her retainer names are to see how much money I have spent towards Aurora.
How much you've given to Aurora? I'm sure she could tell you.
Probably. There's not a lot of Talizes running around.
No. So yeah, and there will be more job changes coming up as well. These are just the ones that they have coming within 5.1. Then they're going to be readjusting. They may make additional changes, and there'll be more things coming in 5.2.
Oh yeah,
this is not the be all end all.
Gosh, no. I mean, if it was the be all end all, I'd still have a TP gauge. Like,
oh god.
The game adjusts.
I don't want to go back. TP, man. I so love it.
Go back. I couldn't play.
No, I am spamming.
Play it again.
I am spamming so many AoEs right now as Bard. It is just amazing. No. I love it. I mean,
so much overpower. In low level dungeons, it's the salvation. But yeah, we're gonna see a lot of job changes, and not just Disciples of War and Magic. We've already speculated quite heavily about the crafting and gathering revamp, and we finally got some good notes.
And we got a little bit of information here. The UI will be adjusted to more easily track recipe requirements. It includes the recipe tree that we had briefly mentioned, I think, in the last live letter. Many abilities will be merged or reworked because of a lot of redundancy. I mean, there's a lot of things that are way too worthless. Similar. I mean, we don't necessarily need 4 levels of, basically the same skill.
I don't need 4 levels of increased quality and 4 levels of increase progress while also having skills that increase quality and progress, or skills that combo into increasing quality in massive percentage based amounts. There's a skill on crafters. It's everybody gets it at like level 76, and it's 90% efficiency, 90% accuracy, and it increases your quality and it increases your progress. And I was just like, why would I use literally anything other?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's I use what's it, Careful Synthesis 3?
Yep.
That's
Careful
the one.
Synth 3.
I mean, I don't use anything else. It's 150% quality increase with 100% proficiency.
And if you don't need something HQ, which, let's be real, once your crafters are above 72, 74, anything below level 50, you can HQ out of normal quality stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just don't. Like, you just don't need HQ level 30 mats. The level 30 person does, and that's why there's still a market for them.
Yep, so any of them you get, you sell them off.
You can sell, but us as crafters don't need that, and we don't need all of the stuff. As we've leveled up, like, Arrow levels up, Stone levels up.
Yep, so I'm hoping that we get that as well. So, like, Careful Synthesis will turn into 2 will turn into 3 instead of having to pull it off of the bar.
Or let's say my MP is too, or my my CP is too low to do Careful Synth 3. Careful Synth 3 rolls back down to Careful Synth 2.
Yeah, see, that's my only concern is, the way they set those up is it not only increases the progress you get, but it also increases the potency.
Yeah.
At a much higher cost of CP.
Right, but if you don't have the CP, you should still be able to cast the level 2.
You would hope, but you can't do that with magic.
That is a really good point.
So,
please look forward to it. That sounds awesome. But yeah, we're reworking abilities.
Maybe it just means they're gonna edit, what the CP costs are,
so that it is more sliding and
it's not a huge increase. I mean, because we're talking for the 4 levels of quality increase. It's like 7 CP, 15, 24, 32, something like that.
Yeah, be a little bit more slidey to be, 7, 13, 19, 28.
I don't know.
I'd be cool with that.
Because I use Hasty Touch a lot.
I use Hasty Touch too.
Yeah, Hasty Touch too.
Hasty Touch 2 with Steady Hand 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you got a 90% shot.
With your Inner Quiet.
Yep.
And you just sit there and you slam on it. And then when your hand wears out, your Inner Quiet's at like 3 or 4.
Yep.
And that fills in that other 10%. And then you're good to go and you just finish your craft. But the problem is a lot of people aren't crafting. This is something that that Yoshida mentions. People have leveled Gatherer and Crafter jobs by buying stuff on the market board and turning it into their grand company.
Yep, or turning it in buying leave kits.
Or buying leave kits off of wherever. Or they buy, or they just buy all the leave mats. Or they do what I'm doing, which is extremely bad. Do not do what I do. And they do nothing but collectibles and have absolutely no idea how to craft a real item. And I can craft a collectible all day long, but they go craft a real item and I'm like, bruh, I have no clue. It's the same rotation, but it doesn't click the same. And so I don't really know how. And a lot of people have, again, kind of bought their way to 70 or 80. They get a crafter high up and they go, oh, I want to do custom deliveries. I have a level 80 culinarian. I make all 12 custom deliveries every single week on a culinarian. And then I go in and I'm like, I'm going to turn in all of these as my level 66 carpenter. And then now I'm going to turn all of these in as my level 71.
Okay, I have to interrupt you. If you have a level 80 of any crafter and you still have a level 66 of another crafter, I am ashamed.
I just never bothered.
I am absolutely ashamed of that fact.
I just never leveled it up because I didn't care.
No, I mean, if there is a war job that you don't like on that case, I understand that. You don't have to level up all those, but you need to level up all of your crafters and all of your gatherers.
I did. I have a level 80
culinarian
and a level 66 alchemist.
The people who have level 80 botanists and level 80 miners and level 1 fishers are the exact same people to me. And I'm very, very disappointed in them.
Just think about it this way, Klaus. They now have to deal with inventory management for leveling another gatherer class from 1 to 80.
No, they just won't do it.
That too is also a problem, which is probably why this revamp is happening. Other mention is that they rely on macros, which there are macro calculators that you just put in, I'm level X, my stats are this, I want to make this, dump, and then you copy paste some text and you're done.
Well, I mean, it's an amazing system.
It's really cool, except for the part where you don't know what you're doing.
Yes, because you're relying on everybody else's knowledge.
And that's fine to some extent, but it's one of those, you're cheating yourself out of the experience.
Yeah.
Now, if you figure out a rotation by hand and then turn it into a macro to make your life easier, cool. That's the goal, right? We've used macros for everything from, like, I have one on my Gunbreaker right now, and it's the, like, hi, I'm going to have 1 HP in about 3 seconds. Hang tight. Like,
It's your oh shit macro.
It's the oh shit macro, and it makes sense to alert the healer, like, heads up, I'm gonna have 1 HP.
Don't freak out.
Like, I'm gonna need that. But Warriors had it for Berserk macros for years too. So like we use macros for a lot of different things. Sometimes it's spamming cute art in MSQ, and sometimes it's making sure that we don't die.
It's mechanics o'clock.
Mechanics o'clock. I like the to the left macros that were coming up for a while.
Danger bongos, mechanics are happening. Sorry.
Oh, you mentioned running through with trusts and gathering a whole crap pile of gear.
Mm-hmm.
I said put a pin in that.
Because of the desynthesis.
This is why on behalf of everybody that is going to punch a hole in their wall in 2 weeks, I am so sorry for everybody that has spent millions of gil and dozens of hours getting your desynthesis maxed on whatever you cared about. Because now, as soon as you pick up a level 1 quest at level 10 in Realm Reborn and switch your weapon, you now have maximum desynthesis on that roll. And I am so incredibly sorry. Good news. I have 5,000 ventures, and I don't know what else to spend Grand Company seals on. I have an entire retainer and a half full of gear that is completely useless and cannot be sold.
But now it can be desynth, hopefully.
I can now desynth it.
Every single...
I can desynth fish all day, but I cannot because they're free, so why not? But I can't desynth, the high-level alchemy, the high-level goldsmith stuff. But now we can. So expect some of those really weird, rare demi-materia, all the janky stuff that's hard to grab. That's going to become a lot more popular and a lot easier to get. Plus all those weird, like, binding coil turn 7, like all the weird stuff that we just don't think about anymore. That's going to be more viable because we're going to want that, because we're going to want to desynth that item to get that other item that you can't get anywhere else.
True.
So I'm super stoked for desynthesis being maxed out for everybody. But I feel so bad for everybody that put in so much work.
What I'm hearing is you're going to want to fill up your inventories with a whole bunch of gear.
Yep.
And then hold on to it until the 29th.
That's what I'm doing.
At that point, you are going to then log into the game and you're going to desynth everything, have a whole ton of weird mats, and then you're going to spam the board with it, and you're going to end up making no money.
Yes.
So the smart people are going to actually do all of that. They're going to desynth it the week before, put it up on the market board to make that money, and then they're going to go and find other places to actually make the money.
And that is the benefit of doing the skills early as opposed to waiting until it changes.
And gets nerfed.
Exactly. We have a new custom delivery client, which is going to bring a total to 5.
Yep, we're getting Kai Shear. I don't remember who
Any
Kai
ideas
Shear
where they're
is.
going to be?
I don't remember Kai Shear. I'm going to have to Google that Kai Shear.
So we're going to have a new custom delivery. We still only have 12 turn-ins.
Probably.
So if you have
Kai Shear is in Yulmore.
That's a fair place for it. So Kai Shear is going to be our 5th one. We still have 12 turn-ins.
Yes.
Don't have all 4 maxed out, get started.
The you have a MSQ. Do you remember that that little blue-haired Makote that we end up giving our
the paintbrush?
Yeah, it's a paintbrush guy. I think.
Perfect.
I think.
Perfect. I'd be down for it if it was.
We end up giving him our I should say Alphino gives him the opportunity to do the thing with the the Sahagin.
The Chais?
No. Well, it was the painter for the Chais, I believe.
Oh, right. He was the painter for the Chais, and then we took over his job.
Or no. Why do I keep forgetting all this shit?
If anybody knows who Kai Shear is in chat.
How about I'm just Googling now. So I'm trying to remember exactly at what point in the story we got Kai Shear. And I want to say it's the one who they were trying to get in to Yulmore.
Oh, he was the one. Okay. I know who we're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact
part
of the story.
That's a little story heavy, so
yeah.
Play the story. Speaking of crafting and gathering, who likes endgame crafting and gathering?
does anybody actually like it?
Did and not think so.
Well,
Congratulations.
There's three people, I think, but they all have like 900 billion jillion gil already, so.
And they have large houses that they just buy whatever they want at this point. And
exactly.
Yeah, no, boring. Crafters and gatherers, we finally have something to do. It has been alluded to. We talked about it at FanFest. We wanted it in Heaven's Word. We wanted it in Stormblood. And we're finally getting it here in Shadowbringers. Crafters, gatherers, grab your hammers, grab your skillets. It is time to rebuild Ishgard. We are going to work together as a server. What the hell? It's kind of like when you're building subparts or stuff in a workshop for a free company.
But entirely server-wide.
But it's server-wide. So instead of like, oh, we need 50 steel plates or whatever, let's grab 4 people. Hey, can somebody AFK in here for a little bit? No, it's going to take a lot of work from a lot of people. And because it's going to be individual, there's going to be a server that gets it before everybody else worldwide. Looking at you, Aether. It's going to be somebody on Aether, probably.
I don't know. I think Hyperion has a pretty good chance of it.
Hyperion's one of the better choices on Primal, Hyperion or Ultros. I'm actually interested on Crystal. Because
Xcal also has a lot of crafters.
Crystal is so RP heavy that people do a lot more than just raid. So a lot of them have crafters and gatherers at super high levels because they'll just sort of AF craft or AF gather while they're in character.
The ones I'm thinking of for servers that are going to probably have a high chance of getting it done fast, we're looking at Greg.
For sure.
We're looking at Balmung and Mateus.
Yeah, Balmung and Mateus are a given.
I mean, I would say Xcal and Hyperion also have a good shot. So, if I had to guess. But, I mean... we will see.
We don't know, and we won't know until people start really banging it out, and we see what we have to work through. If it's a really big pile of stuff, it might take us a little while. But we'll get there.
Yeah, the cool bit that I saw in here, there's one that's actually, it's going to be something called a concerted works. It's going to be similar to a fate. So I don't know how many of you guys remember playing in 1.0. I didn't do any of these, but I hear Ruby and Yelta talking all the time about Hamlet defense.
Yep.
This is going to remind me a little bit of maybe how that worked as far as the crafter and gatherer side went, where you're going to work together actively with other people at the same time to create specific items. We're going to have a time-based crafting competition. How awesome is that? You're going to actually you're going to literally have Iron Chef. Exactly. It's going to be Iron Alchemist. Yeah, whatever. Ale crafting. You just walk in and you're just like, the theme ingredient today is oak lumber. Like, what? We just have to make stuff on the fly. It's gonna be really fun. Yep, you're gonna make a whole bunch of handles for halberds, or you're gonna make a whole bunch of planks for something like shutters, or I don't know. We get blacksmith. And we make nothing but pike heads. And then it's a chained fate-like thing where as soon as that one ends, the next one pops up and we need poles. And then we're turning those poles with those heads into lances. And depending on our success rate of the previous fate will determine what we have to do in the next one. Mm-hmm. Like, while something else is going on. This could be the more active, engaging side of crafting that isn't macro based, that isn't I'm gonna set this to 99 and go make pizza. Like, you can't do that. Like, you're gonna have to be they need to be HQ or something like that. It'll be really fun to watch. There's also a note for future updates allowing contributions via gatherer collectibles. So if you are a gatherer, you love fishing, you love mining, botany, you're gonna be able to get those collectibles and turn those in and utilize that as your contribution. So it's going to take probably most of the server. It's not something that 2 or 3 of us could do over the course of a few months. It's going to take a lot of us. I would say at least a couple hundred people doing this on a regular basis. Easily. Next
point of order.
Well, let's before we move on to the next gate bit. Like I said, I mean, there's so much more that we could potentially look forward to. We're getting this in 5.11, correct?
Yes.
So
this is something. Yeah, Ishgard Restoration is 5.11.
I mean, do you think
that
they could? Do you think they could add more to this? Maybe the next step could come in 5.15. They didn't say.
5.15 could add more. It could also balance it. Like if they release it in 1.1, and then 3 weeks later they go, people have made not enough progress, or they've made
too
so much progress, or they've changed how this works. Maybe we make the next little bit that we build onto, kind of like the Dome and Enclave. Like that wasn't all at once. There's it was, but like we took us a while to get there.
How much do you want to bet there's going to be hard limits as to how much can be turned in?
Oh, for sure. For sure, because otherwise you're going to have one or two gillionaires that just bang through it.
Yep.
And the goal here is not to have a bunch of gillionaires. The goal here is to have everybody come together and contribute what they can, so that when Ishgard is built, we can say, do you remember when we ran here with the clothes on our backs? And now we go, we've built your residential area with you.
Yeah. Do you think that that's actually going to lead to the Ishgard residential area?
I hope so.
Ishgard housing? You think we're actually going to get that?
I hope so. Because people have wanted it for so long. Even if the first thing we get is barracks that work very similar to how apartments work. Thematically, yeah, we don't have a lot of space. We got to cram this in here. And then we worry about a housing ward later. But give us something.
How about housing on Norvrant instead?
Yeah. Something.
I mean, do you think that you could ever see them put housing on the first?
That thematically, no. Storyline and narrative wise, no. Just because we're in a different place. Like even when we hit a summoning bell, we don't get our retainers. We get Fayul, and she talks to our retainers for us. Like thematically, they added that step. It doesn't do anything mechanically, but they decided to add that step just to increase the immersion that we have.
What about a second apartment?
If we could have one in like Limsa and then one
in the Crystarium. I mean, we kind of already have that in Independence, but
we kind of do. Yeah,
you know, it would be nice allowing us to actually go in and decorate it.
Going in and decorate it, or using it. Going in and just using it for something other than.
I think we can actually go there. We can actually just go check in like an inn.
As opposed to before when it was like, oh, I'm going to go check into the inn. And it's just like, oh, right, I'm going to have a fever dream.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we can currently use it similarly to an inn. It's just a little bit bigger, but it'd be nice if we could decorate it on our own.
And so we could put some of these housing items we have. My God, do I have a lot of housing go up for sale because I just have nowhere to put them.
Nice, yeah.
You know, good money, but like, oh, this wall is 80,000 gil.
I think okay. Sorry, I have to interrupt right now because a few minutes ago we got a message back from our contest winner, Alshalant. Goes,
sweet.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna redeem and take photos and tag you guys in just a few. Bah, so excited! I wanted this mount so bad and I was about to buy it myself. I can't believe I won, and then a whole bunch of unintelligible gibberish. So congratulations. I'm glad that you're happy.
Is it that ever famous Twitter word ASDFGHJ?
It's
that's a good word.
Dog. Okay.
Can you get that one more time? That was stupid.
No, but I probably will repost it with their permission.
Please.
So I just thought that was very awesome. Thank you so much for submitting your entry to our contest and being our awesome winner.
Thank you for being part of the contest. Thank you
Yes.
for being the biggest part of the contest.
Thank you for being the only part of the contest.
So hey, heads up.
Okay,
if you want to win a down radio contest. It's not
technically,
hard.
that's not true. I guess Wanderer did enter one, but he said he wrote one for us, but he did not submitted as an entry. Do you remember that one?
I remember.
A couple weeks ago, he put. I'm trying to see if I can find where he put it. It was pretty good too, because you would have been impressed by it because he actually did it in Japanese.
Oh yeah, link me that.
It's in Discord somewhere.
I'll dig for it.
I need to find it, but yes. Anyway, before didn't mean to totally derail us there, but now we get to talk about everybody's favorite. No, wait, no, we're not there yet. We have to talk about the gates first.
Okay, I thought you were being sarcastic for half a second.
Well, I was, but it was in two bits.
Okay. We have a gate because the Gold Saucer is a place where people go. The active time event has you take the stage and attempt to dodge Yojimbo and Daigoro's many mechanics. It's called The Slice is Right.
Dun dun da da. Dun dun da da.
So is this Bob Barker or Drew Carey Price is Right?
I don't know.
Okay. Because they're both good.
In their own way.
There's a great video. One of the assistants accidentally knocks one of the price tag signs and reveals the winner selection. One of those like pick one of 6 and you might get a car things. She bumps the sign and the thing falls off and shows where the winner is. And the contestant just immediately points to it and wins. I was like, I love this show. Bloopers are great.
Well,
oops, we gave away $50,000. Our bad.
Well, it is what it is, I guess. So,
I mean, they weren't going to take it away.
So, is this going to end after every gate where Daigoro gets spayed or neutered?
Probably.
Sorry,
I loved all of the puns that we put into the game. Oh God.
Or hopefully it's not us that gets spayed or neutered.
Nope, I'm a potato.
You'll get
roll away.
DI'd.
Yeah, I get peeled. I don't know.
It's by server, Renari. He's asking if the Halloween instance is by server or data center. But if you want to come on to Hyperion and join us in the instance, I did verify that I can go into other servers' Halloween instances.
Oh, really?
Yes.
If you visit?
Correct.
Cool.
If you want to come into the Halloween instance, it is open on Hyperion. So, so yeah, we have a new beast tribe. Finally, we are getting the pixies, and holy shit, does that place look like a fever dream?
It feels like it looks like a playground.
But it's got fucking lollipops and candy canes and sugar plums dancing in a row. What the shit, Yoshi? Were you high on something?
I mean, it's Japan, so no. But also
yes.
I've gotten some pretty strong cold medicine in Japan. I'll tell you that.
Oh, he just has a cold.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's cold medicine. Seriously though, be careful when you buy cold medicine when you go to Japan. It might come in powder form, and that's an interesting thing to have in your backpack when you go to the airport to try to fly home.
Sorry, officer, it's just cold medicine.
I just threw it away. I was like, nope. I don't even want to try.
You should have taken it before you got on the plane.
I did, and then I threw away the rest.
Oh, I see. Well, you should have taken it all then. That would have been one hell of a plane ride that you wouldn't have remembered.
I wouldn't have remembered any of it, but I was actually I was a guest of the U.S. military for that particular plane ride, so I actually kind of be on my behavior.
Hell with that.
Yeah, whatever. Free flight, so I took it.
All right, so we're going to have level synced quests from the Pixies, help with secondary jobs as well. So, and like I said, their area is out of a frickin' fever dream, out of like something from Philip K. Dick's imagination, I swear to God.
It's weird. It's weird, but I like it, and I'm interested to see what it turns into.
And I'm going to do it.
Oh, yeah. No, we're going to... With the Realm Reborn, beast tribes were just atrocious. And then they've gotten better with every iteration.
Absolutely.
They've gotten... The Namazu were great. The Moogles were fine at the time.
No, they weren't.
Better with every iteration.
The Moogles were horrible because in order to get to the Moogles, you had to do all those other fucking Moogle quests.
You had to do a ton of quests to get there, and the zone was enormous.
And
that was their shortfall. Beyond that, again, there are people that have max level crafters that have no idea how to craft.
Hashtag fuck the Moogles.
Right, 50 to 60 Moogles is a big part of that.
No, I used it to level up my crafters, because in Heavensward and Stormblood, I was very lazy when it came to that. I mean, I'm halfway to 80 on a lot of my crafters now. So
yeah, I basically am just doing the weekly custom deliveries for crafters, and then that's it. Oh, no. And then if I happen to have whatever my grand company wants buried in my inventory somewhere, I'll go grab it.
Please say you're also doing the facet quests.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because that is massive amounts of XP.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. It's as soon as they hit, so is it 70, 72? Like, yeah, you hit those.
Yeah, Bannon, you're right. Once he actually got to the Moogles, they were fine. Though it was very, very therapeutic to slap Moogles.
I'm wondering if that was on purpose.
It was. It absolutely was. Which is why it was very therapeutic.
So we have a new beast tribe, and as with every single beast tribe, it's going to be totally different than the last one, because that's how we do beast tribes now, I guess.
It should be fine.
It'll be fine. The Ananta were different than the Namazu. The Moogles were different than everybody else.
Yes.
I don't know what the hell was going on with the Sahagin, but boy, they were boring. You know, like...
Yeah. And
so we got there.
Yep. And then this is what I was talking about for everybody's favorite piece of content. PvP! Crickets.
You know,
PvP
I got all my Garo shit. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I got my mounts. I'm good. Though, I mean, it's been a great way to get Moogle tomes. I mean, 5 Moogle tomes for each front line.
I'll take it.
I mean, that was good. But there's gonna be major adjustments coming in 5.1. The 24 player battles, the 8v8v8, are being ixnayed. They're gone. It's gonna be all 72 player stuff now.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because the 8v8 was horrible. It was the worst.
It was difficult if you had... Okay, there's 3 people on an 8-man team that are on Discord together, and the other 5 are randos. And the other 2 teams are 8 randos. The team that has the 3 people that are actively communicating are going to storm you.
Yep.
And it didn't matter. Like, balance was a mess. It just wasn't good. But they're working on it. They're trying to make PvP better. PvP is kind of like their back burner project, it feels like. Because when they put out something really cool, like you get to pilot robots now. Sweet. We basically put Heroes of the Storm in this game. Sweet. A week later.
Crickets.
Abandoned. Absolutely abandoned. Hey, we put Garo stuff out. 5 months of every casual player playing PvP to be silly, to get cool gear that looked neat, and all the hardcore PvP people that are like, oh my god, nobody knows what's going on. And then we all vanished because we all got the gear. Now what? PvP has been loosely abandoned ever since.
Yeah. Well, they brought back a little bit of XP, which has helped a bit as well. I mean, you get a decent chunk of XP for running your different roulettes. So, like...
Once upon a time in another life that I don't really like admitting, especially now, I did play WoW, and I liked playing PvP. I was playing with twink characters that were at like 19, 29, 39 with max level gear with EXP turned off, doing all of these very specific styles of PvP. It was really cool, but the meta was so fixed that I ended up playing during the time that we would do Druid Paladin duels. So it was a Druid and a Paladin versus a Druid and a Paladin, and we'd be in PvP for an hour and a half. And it was dumb. So that kind of turned me off of PvP. So now I come to 14, PvP is a completely different beast, but I have to think back to an hour and a half tank versus tank duel. I just want no part of it. So we also have a Nero hanging out with us here on the stream.
Oh, I'm just ignoring him.
He was doing the Get Fantasy earlier.
I'm just ignoring him. I mean, I'm gonna be his Sid and ignore him.
Perfect. You're the worst waifu.
Yes. But what some other things that are coming in? Like I said, we are getting a whole new map that's coming in 5.15, I believe it is. Let me look.
New
back.
maps are good as long as they're designed well, because a lot of the PvP problem is it's a new map. No, it's grass. It's the same map, but it's grass.
Yeah,
Oh, we made a new
Renari, I
map.
knew it
It's
was you. That's
rock.
why I'm being a smartass about it. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. This is going to be, like I said, it's going to be on the Asm step. So I mean, are we going to be able to relive the Nadam each time we want? That could be kind of fun. That was actually a fun instanced battle that we had in Stormblood storyline. If we can have a 72-person Nadam, that could be kind of fun.
Ooh, that's fair.
We'll have to see how it works out. Let's keep moving on, because we're actually going quite longer than I thought we were going to. We're already almost 2 hours in.
We're getting there.
Yeah. New Game
Moving right
Plus is going to be coming in 5.1 something. What was it again?
So,
Where is it right away?
I think it's.
Yeah, New Game
it's
Plus
5.1.
is right away in 5.1.
We're not getting EXP from it.
No, it's only to relive the storyline.
We're not getting items from it,
Because that
which
would be
helps with farming,
would be
right?
Yeah, that would be a little bit unbalancing if they were to allow items and XP to come from it.
Yeah. So I get why we're not really getting the material benefit, but also if we're just going through for story, I mean, there's some stories that I'm going to go through again. I definitely want to go through the Warriors of Darkness story again. I'm kind of interested in some of the Stormblood bits that I got behind and had to kind of breeze through and didn't read as well as I would like.
Yep. But the
I'm gonna go
problem,
through some of it.
I think I know where you're going with this. The problem with it is, while they've cut it into somewhat smaller pieces, those are still really huge chunks.
Yeah.
It's like 5 different pieces they cut the story into?
Yeah.
4 or 5, I think, something like that. But I mean, let's say I only wanted to play through one small side arc. I'm going to have to play through that side arc plus 2 other side arcs to get through it. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's gonna take a bit of time. I mean, in order to complete, a patch's worth of content, we're looking at least 3 hours. When we were doing it initially before. And some patches it's more. I mean, we could be looking at 4 to 5 hours of completion, depending on queue times and other things like that, and how much cutscene skipping you're doing.
How big was Heaven's Word really, and how big was it in our heads?
Well,
I remember it being massive.
Heaven's Word I finished in early access. In the initial 3.0.
Right, but through 3.55?
It's a lot smaller than ARR was.
Yes, and there's a lot of reasons for that. To which end, Realm Reborn chapters are not available in New Game Plus because of the upcoming aforementioned squish.
Exactly. They are working on making it simpler. But I would say to get through one section of 3.x is still going to take a good 10 hours.
Yeah. Agreed. We're going to be very, very, very busy.
If you want to go through it for specific things. I mean, it would be nice if we could go back to the unending journey, and instead of just watching the cutscenes, we redo the quest. That'd
be nice. I think the New Game Plus and the unending journey needs to be one thing and needs to be better.
Yep.
That would be ideal.
I don't know if it's possible to go back in, and if you click in the unending journey, click on this quest, can you unflag completed and allow you to redo it in that fashion? I'm not sure if the current coding allows for that. Would it be nice to be able to do it? Yes.
That's actually a good point, because you would have to remove you'd have to remove the flag and
potentially, depending on how, I mean, we'll have to
Yeah.
look. They'll have to look to see how New Game Plus is actually written and how it's implemented. They might be able to get more granular with it.
Possibly.
We'll have to see.
We'll see. Other new thing that is not New Game Plus. Did you play any of Nier Automata?
I haven't touched the game at all.
I have watched 5 minutes of gameplay from my awesome friend Ruby. Shoutouts to Ruby. I have no idea what this is about, like literally at all. I have zero concept. I know that the cosplayers are very proud of their face masks, wigs, and dresses. That is all I've got. I have no clue what this game is
Yes,
about.
I've seen a lot of cosplay for Nier.
And so now
That's about
we're going to
all.
have, but like when we had anybody that played Tactics or 12, like our last 24-man raid, we were, oh, look, 14 is still a theme park. Awesome. But before we were like, well, we have this cool story about demons and we also have this cool story about sky pirates, and neither one is big enough for a 24-man raid. So here, let's shove them together, have fun. We were like, all right, that wasn't exactly, it was cool, but all right.
I thought
Crystal
they did a
Tower.
good job on it.
It was fun. I love the gear. I like the story once you got the whole story, but boy, systematically, bit by bit, having a boss switch out after a couple weeks, that was weird. The Crystal Tower one, as an old NES Final Fantasy player, I lost my mind when I was like, holy crap, we get Final Fantasy III representation in here? That's wild.
Yeah, not a lot of NA players are very familiar with 3. I mean, unless you've got the DS version.
The DS version, which is a very different version than the Onion Knight version. So
still fun, but
amazingly fun, and in one of the original job-based RPGs from back in the 80s and early 90s. So if you've played, Tactics, if you've played Bravely Default, like there's some stuff in 3 that made its way that far forward. So we have something to reference towards for all of our 24-man raids. We had Crystal Tower, cool. We had a unique story that was cool but different, and then we had more Final Fantasy reference stuff, great. And now we're into our next one, which is not a Final Fantasy reference and is not a unique story. It's a story related tangentially to something else that's happening in a completely different franchise.
Well, they're working on ways to tie it into in-game lore too. So
I'm hoping so, because
there's a quest in Kaluja that I think is pointing us in this direction. It having to do with the dwarves.
Okay. I think I might have missed that one.
It's a side quest, so yeah, it's very easy to have missed.
But I'm interested to see how they tie it in and how they loop us together. Because while it was cool to watch Joker kill Pikachu and Ice Climbers in Super Smash Brothers, like cool, we have Persona and Pokemon. That's great, but it's a game that is built over several chapters and several iterations to be a giant crossover game. Here in 14, I can't say we're not a crossover because we have Garo and we had Yokai Watch. Like, obviously we're a crossover game at some level, but we never got the Phantasy
Monster
Star
Hunter
Online crossover in the West. So I'm interested to see how they do a crossover with a franchise that they own, so they have full control over everything that they put in. So we have a new 24-man coming up. Yorha, Dark Apocalypse, Copied Factory. If we posted really early on in the chat, and it'll probably be in the show notes as well, there's a video for the trailer. Definitely watch the trailer. You get to see a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, they show a lot. I think they show more of the Nier characters than what we're actually going to experience in the storyline.
Probably.
They're
Also,
doubling down on it. They really are.
Point of note that I did find out from a friend. It's 2 of the characters from Nier. They have like code names like 2B and like 9 something or another. Their actual code names are Virtue and Cruelty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And our patch is Vows of Virtue, Deeds of Cruelty. So it's like, oh, okay.
Isn't it also names of their weapons or something too?
Something like that. So it'll be interesting. I want to see how they do it. I love the 24-man raids. I always have. I want to see how they pull this one off because I'm going in blind.
Yep, same.
And there's a lot of people that there are 14 players. Like I think was Emmy mentioned that like 14 was kind of her first Final Fantasy. Like you don't have the same reference to Ultros. You don't understand Crystal Tower. Like you don't have those reference points. So you're coming in completely fresh and you get to see it as a brand new thing. And I wish to God that I could do that in some of these instances for this game. And here we have this 24-man where that's exactly what I get to do.
Yeah.
I get to see Nier Automata through completely empty
fresh eyes
that have nothing behind it. So I'm excited.
You're saying that you got nothing behind your eyes.
I got nothing behind my eyes, man.
He's got no brain, folks.
Nope. We knew that.
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. I did like a stupid workout this morning, and I've been brain dead all day.
No, it's all good. Then the last bit that we got, the Epic of Alexander, 2 weeks after 5.1's launch. So again, November 12th. It's going to be the ultimate version of the Alexander fight. So you're going to have Alexander Prime. You're probably going to have Manipulator. You're going to have maybe Jigglybutt. I don't know who they're going to bring in.
We do get Jigglybutt. Actually, they showed that. We have, when it starts the fight, it's like Cruise Chaser, Brute Justice, one of the Devastators, and like they're all bearing down on you. And then like they all vanish and like a fight starts. So like we're gonna get to fight some of the more iconic bosses.
Well, they're gonna get to fight
Alexander
some of it. I'm never gonna get to touch this shit.
How about this? You and I are gonna watch Chili do it.
If Chili can get into it, I will watch the channel at twitch.tv/MoogleGoAroundRadio. But yeah. And then, of course, they ended the live letter talking about all the new merch and stuff. There's going to be a patch note reading and at 1500 Japan Standard Time on October 29th. I'm not going to watch that because it's all in Japanese. I'm sure Taliz might be interested.
I might watch it. It's at 3 in the afternoon, which is about 1 a.m. my time. And that's it's doable, but it's tough.
It'd be tough. Final Fantasy XIV has been nominated for 2 Golden Joystick Awards for Best Game Expansion and PlayStation Game of the Year. So that's pretty neat.
For Shadowbringers, absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, well, we've all said that the Shadowbringers story is one of the best Final Fantasy stories of all time.
It's one of the reasons why I'm speedrunning 6 right now, because like I need to play 6 again to rejudge it, because Shadowbringers is really, really good. Like a friend of mine named her son Kefka. Like, you know, like she really likes 6. And she wants to get it. Like for Halloween last year, he wouldn't wear a costume, so she just made him hold a sign that said, "Ahem, there's sand on my boot." She knows what it's about. It's great.
That's great.
So I would love to see it win Best Expansion. I'd love to see it win Game of the Year, but I know expansion is definitely reachable.
It's also nominated for the PlayStation Game Music Awards, because that Shadowbringers soundtrack is just phenomenal.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Behind all the Lahi memes, it's great. Most of the music is incredible, and I have literally just hung out in Yulemore until I went AFK and got kicked from the server just because the music.
Well, you know what you do? You just click on the summoning bell,
and then you just never get kicked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy, but sometimes be that guy.
And then a whole bunch of merch. The second edition of the Final Fantasy XIV orchestral album, The Origin Symphony, will be releasing on December 11th.
I thought that was already out,
no,
or am I thinking of the Shadowbringers OST?
The first one is out already. That was released earlier this year. The Shadowbringers OST is out.
Okay.
But this is Eorzean Symphony Volume 2.
Okay. While I love having all the CDs on a shelf and they all match, it's really irritating to try to remember which, because this one's brown, this one's blue, this one's dark blue. Ugh! That's really hard.
There's a couple of red ones now.
Yep, I have the Before Meteor soundtrack as well.
I'm still salty about that one. That mine doesn't have the Wind Up Dalamud.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, and I'll never be able to get that minion now.
Nope. Never.
Then the last bit that they talked about, there will be a 14-hour broadcast scheduled for December 14th.
Is this truly necessary?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
I say as we're 2 weeks away from Extra Life.
Yes.
But
14 hours? Psh, give me 25.
so to that end, is Extra Life on Labor Day on we usually did it on like Daylight Savings Day.
It's
or
always
whatever,
Daylight Savings Weekend. That's why it's
Okay.
25 hours.
Awful.
Extra Life gives that extra hour.
Aw, to that end, if you missed it earlier in the show, definitely hang out with us.
Yep, we will
For
be
Extra Life.
This will be our 3rd year doing Extra Life. I should probably
Play Jackbox with us.
Yeah,
there's
there's gonna be plenty of room. We got Jackbox Party 6.
I think that fits what, 6 or 8 players?
At least 6, maybe 8.
Oh, we'll have 8.
And I mean, there's also going to be the audience is a player as well. So if you don't get in on a game, you can join in as audience
and harass and troll and
Exactly. So I mean, it's Jackbox. I mean, I hadn't played it much prior to doing Extra Life when I started this, and now I'm having a good time with it. So
it's wonderful.
So make sure to stop by in 2 weeks. It'll be starting November 2nd at 8 a.m. Central Time. We're really going to get into it a lot in the afternoon. And like I said, episode 107 will be live during Extra Life. So the podcast might actually be late that week. Or you're going to get an inside sneak peek at how I actually do the podcast.
To that end, we'll talk about it off mic, but we got to figure out how we're going to do a podcast in the middle of that stream, dude.
We'll figure it out. I mean, because we'll have just gotten 5.1. We'll give our spoiler-free impressions.
Yep.
Because I will probably have just played it on stream.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, there's going to be plenty to talk about. It'll be a good time. So beyond that, that really covers the live letter that we had yesterday morning.
Yep.
And wow, every time I figure, we're gonna have a short podcast this week. Nope, 2 more hours.
2 hours, bang, we hit it every time.
Exactly, we're consistent. There's no Librarian's Corner this week because Sarah, like I said, is doing IRL stuff. Taliz didn't feel like doing a prep station because of the live letter.
Yep, and Taliz may or may not be writing a cookbook, ? So if you like food, stay tuned, because I might have some cool recipes getting posted soon.
In regards to emails and comments, I kind of already read the comment from Alshalant, our winner of the contest, so that was really cool. Beyond that, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. If you liked what you heard, please make sure to like, subscribe, or follow us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, or whatever your favorite podcatcher is. And if possible, leave us a rating or review. It does help people find us and helps us to grow our community. If you really dig the show, please consider subscribing here at twitch.tv/PhoenixDownRadio. Remember, if you are a Amazon Prime subscriber, you can link your Twitch account to that and get a free Twitch subscription to your favorite streamer. It doesn't have to be us. Just don't let it go to waste. Or you can be a patron out on our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/PhoenixDownRadio, like our amazing friend, Aurora Fenrir. All those proceeds go towards growing the show, cover the hosting costs, and allow us to do some of the giveaways and supporter only things, and make sure that we can do things that are fun. You know, it takes a little bit of money to get these things going, so any help that you give, whether it's likes, emails, retweets, follows, subs, patron subscriptions, whatever, it's always greatly appreciated. We really love interacting with you guys, and we do this because we love you.
And it's a lot of fun hanging out. So if you are listening on the podcast and you are free on every other Saturday night, join us on twitch.tv/PhoenixDownRadio. Hang out with us in chat. Harass us IRL. It's great.
It's a great time. We love doing it. If you want to check out some of our back episodes, if you're new to us, you can go to our website, PhoenixDownRadio.com. If you have a question you want to ask, if you want to give us a suggestion, or if you just want to say something that's not on social media or whatever, you can email us podcast@phoenixdownradio.com. If you want to hit us up on Twitter, we are at PHXDNradio. And if you want to check all of the videos out, we have a YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/PhoenixDownRadio. So, Taliz, shout-outs?
Shout-outs. I already hit up my awesome friend Ruby, who currently streaming through Nier, trying to grab all of the endings. She is at Ruby Plays, I believe. She's not online right now, so I will have to dig that up later. So shout-outs to Ruby. Shout-outs to Mary. She does housing tours all over Eorzea. Her group that she has doing weird, silly themed 24-man raids votes on what day they want to raid. And so far for the last 4 months, they do their raids on episode nights. So someday, maybe, I'll get to go to one. Until then, We're hanging out here, and it's a good time. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Taliz Marvelous, Taliz Marvelous. Like I said earlier, I post a lot of pictures about cars, food, and exercise. So be prepared for that.
Ew. Anyway, and I want to shout out to Sarah. Hope you're having a wonderful time at your wedding. Not your wedding, but your friend's wedding.
I was going to say, you would have told us that. Holy crap.
Well, who knows?
If Sarah comes back from this weekend married, I'm going to lose my shit.
Maybe it's in Vegas. Who knows? You know what happens in Vegas?
Yeah. No, I don't, because it stays in Vegas.
Oh, that's true. Shout out to you, Taliz, for going through and helping me with all of this, get this all ready, and joining me tonight. Hope you guys had a wonderful time. Shout out to everybody joining us live here at twitch.tv/PhoenixDownRadio. Everybody listening out on the podcast on whatever their favorite podcatcher is. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at PHXDN_KLAUSS. So you can see what I had for lunch this weekend, which was an amazing sashimi bento box from Masu at Mall of America. Hashtag not a sponsor, but please sponsor us because that'd be amazing.
Hashtag non-sponsor, but also appreciation.
But yeah, it was. I post just random stuff. And if you have questions, it's always also a good place to get a hold of me. So for my co-host tonight, Taliz Marvelous, I'm Klaus Nyberger, wishing everybody a wonderful evening. Thanks so much for joining us. Take care.
Phoenix Down Radio is a production of PhoenixDownRadio.com and Illusion Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Open music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/Guilty Gear Rock You. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/Guitar Wanker 90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.